Today's topic is about engaging with our teenagers or young adults with romantic heartbreaks or breakups. I don't know whether it's with the season, but in the last 2 weeks, I've had 10 new, um, parents or families coming with the same theme. Probably it's the season. I have no idea what it is, but it is a very, very recurrent theme recently. So I thought we might as well do a video so that it can hopefully benefit others. So, as parents, what can we do if our children are coming and opening up to us about their heartbreak? Uh, and we spoke about the word heart, so I'll go through the acronym HEART, HEART. The first one is H. Be very, very grateful and thankful that your child has chosen you as the safe space to come and talk about it, which is brilliant, which is really, really great. So, which means a lot has gone well already. The big step is already broken. But when they are opening up, the edge is hear them out. And when I use the word hear, it just means hear. It is not to hear to respond. It is not to hear or listen and then counter it. It is not for us to say anything in this first stage. But when they are opening up, remember, it is with great difficulty that someone is opening up to us, especially children, especially if you had already said this relationship was not good, or if you did not know about the relationship, or if they landed in trouble with the relationship, or if they were the one who cut off because something horrible happened, or if the other person cut off after doing something horrible. We don't know. There can be different context. Regardless of what the context is, here you have your child who needs a safe space to just get it out of them, for them to just say whatever is going on in their thoughts and in their hearts. So the H of the HEART, heart, is hear them out. No filters. Do not worry about what language they use, the choices of words, and it might, even if it seems a bit exaggerated for you, or if it feels that what they're saying is not true, if provided you knew the other person as well, it doesn't matter. In this stage, is just sitting there and saying, yes, yes. Just shake your head. Now, when I say hearing, it is just about accepting that your thoughts and your feelings are safe with me. It does not mean that you have to agree to what they are saying. You're only accepting that, yes, I hear you. I hear you think like this. I hear you feel like this. And I hear you. And I am a safe space. Just holding that space is the edge of the heart. So, in that phase, if you are also getting triggered and you do not know what should I say here, say nothing. Just see there. And if they ask you questions at this stage, and if you do not know what to answer, just say, I really do not know what to tell you now, but I hear you. Just say that itself is fine. If you're pushed to speak, you say, I hear you. I understand that, I accept that you're thinking this way, you're feeling this way. That is it of the first stage. Then you go on to the H and then the E. E is empathize without judgment. So the first one was being a safe space, accepting whatever is coming out as, yes, this is real, this is happening to you, I'm not debating it at all. And you hear them. Second is, not only do you accept, but you also understand and you empathize and you validate their thoughts and feelings. Again, when I say the word acceptance and validation, does not mean you agree with what they are saying. No, not necessary. You can still disagree, but it's not yet time to go into the disagreement phase, because that is about using reason. That is about using gently guiding them to reason. At this stage, in the H stage, which is they are here, they want somebody to hear them out. They are venting. They might be crying. They might be blaming and shaming the other person, or they might be blaming and shaming them. So acceptance and The E, empathizing without judgment. These two phases is most often when your child, teenager or the young adult is dysregulated. They have too much inside and they want to get it out. That energy has to release. So you are being a safe space one, the H, hearing. E is empathy. You're not only being a safe space, you're also being a non-judgmental space, so you're not saying, oh, why do you think like that? That is not true. Okay, I understand. Now, this phase can be very tricky for most parents struggle in these two phases because the parents themselves get triggered or they themselves feel sad because they can see their child struggling so much and it becomes the struggle of the parent. That is when everything becomes a bit complicated because if you are also not able to regulate your own emotions, then you have the child's intense emotion who's gone through the trauma of the heartbreak, regardless of whether you think that was a trivial relationship or even whether you think, okay, good riddance, good that the partner, then whatever you think, it is very significant for your child. So in that case, when you bring in your emotions, it co-escalates. There is one emotion which is intense and your emotion, it escalates and we don't want an escalation. So empathy means just allowing the other person to be aware of their thoughts and feelings. So at this stage, if you do not know what to say, just repeat whatever they're saying. Okay, so I hear you say this and I understand you're feeling this, right? Okay, I totally get it why you're feeling this way. For example, suppose the child says, oh, I just want to die now. I cannot live without him or her, or for telling the name of the partner. I cannot imagine a life or whatever, or might be exaggerated things like I am never going to get into a relationship ever, or all boys are like this, or all men are like this, or all women are like this, or all making exaggerated claims over there, and you will wonder, how do I validate this? Validation doesn't mean that you're agreeing to what they're saying. You're just saying that I understand that you're feeling this now. I understand you're thinking that all men are like this, or I understand you're thinking that there is no meaning in life. You know, I feel that this is what you're going through, and I understand that you feel isolated, you feel frustrated, you feel hopeless. So use those feeling words and put it back to them based on what they're saying. Doesn't mean to say, yeah, that's correct, all blaming, shaming a particular gender, or blaming and shaming the partner, or saying that, yes, it is wonderful, never get into a relationship. It is focusing on studies is what you need to do. Look at that. You have this friends, that friends. Come on, buck up. There are many other boys and girls, and things like that is not validation. So, what is not hearing them out and what is not validating is trying to bring in your thoughts and your feelings into the narrative is when it disconnects. This is about them, it is about their heartbreak, it is about their heart. Of course, you have a heart too because it is your child, understandable. So, if you are the one struggling and you do not know how to work around this, you are the one who need to seek help and figure out how do I support the child. So when I see in my sessions, most often the parents bring the child and say, Madam, you work with this. This person is not able to get the partner out. Come on, put some sense. Give him or her some counseling and fix the person. That is not, first of all, how counseling works. It's not about fixing. It's about understanding and being there with where they are and figuring out how come, what happened, getting them to share whatever. So most often if the parents, many children who I met were okay when I heard them out and validated, and they felt good temporarily. Okay, But what they ideally want is that acceptance and validation from their parents. So how much ever I was doing that just with them in the session, and they felt, yes, and they felt confident, and I could see things were progressing. But ultimately, what was our job? The child is back into that family. There is always a feeling that, how will my parents trust me? I made a mistake. I made a fool of myself. What will my mother think of me? What will my father think of me? Now they're going to put all restrictions because I goofed up once. Now they will not allow me to go out. So there are a lot of things the child ideally want to discuss with the parent. And when I try to bring the two together, most often the difficulty, what I have felt is with the parent. They are saying, no, no, no. The difficulty to open up conversations because they feel that accepting and validation means agreeing to whatever the child is saying. No, that's not acceptance and validation. Acceptance and validation is just saying that I hear you that you think this way. I hear you that you're feeling this way. Hearing H. The E is I empathize, which means I validate. I understand why you're thinking this way. I understand why you're feeling this way. Now, it is only understanding and acceptance, not necessarily agreement. After once you do these two steps, you will automatically notice the child is already feeling a bit relieved, saying, my parents get me. Oh, somebody understands the intensity of the pain. So there is already, they start the beginning journey of healing starts over there, saying that, okay, they get it. I'm not, nobody is shaming and blaming me there. Then after the H, the E, then the A is ask. Ask your children, how can you support them? Ask them, how are you feeling today? What is most difficult for you now? Ask these questions. Just because they look perfectly fine on the outside and they're trying to distract themselves by going out for parties with friends or watching movies, and they're looking super happy, do not sit there thinking that everything is okay. You can ask them, how are you coping? What do you think is going to be most difficult? Now this A, or ask and not assume that things are okay just by seeing what is on the outside. Some children might really mask because the H and the E did not happen at all, so they mask because they know that there's no point talking to the parent. They're not going to understand, so let me just mask it. So which is why it might look like they have moved on and it's all resolved, but not necessarily. So at this stage, ask and not assume. So that is opening up the conversation by asking, how are you feeling now? But if you ask and they will only tell about their feelings if the parent knows how to hear them out and how to empathize. But if as parents we do not know how to hear them out and empathize, if you ask them, they're not going to say anything. They will find other sources of distraction or deviation, and we might not have any idea what that is. So asking is, ask about the topic, bang on. How are you feeling today? Did you feel as hopeless as yesterday? Did you feel that is life looking very, very meaningless even now? Because what will happen is, if depending on the context and what extent the relationship was, if they have been talking daily over the phone, or if they have been texting daily over the phone, suddenly it's coming to an abrupt end. Right. So there is a lot of time, and the children do not know what to do with this time, because till one fine day it was fully focused on this one person. They would have even built a long-term future. We don't know. We don't know what all conversations have gone. We also do not know if there are safety issues, especially if there are photographs exchanged or if there are videos which are inappropriate. We don't know if there are texts, or we don't know anything. So if our children need to be confident to tell us that, okay, this has happened and this is what happened, the first hearing them out and empathizing with them will be the most crucial step for us to gain the trust. And this is not for us to fake it. We should genuinely go through that. For that, I have always felt that the parents are the ones who really needed more support, because many parents did not have the skill because nobody did it for them, maybe because they have not probably learned it from their parents. So it gets a little tricky for many parents, and that's okay. You can seek help. So it's not like pushing the child for counseling, but many a time it's the parents who need help, because the child is actually wanting the parent to be the safe, non-judgmental space. It's great that there are therapists and counselors, and it's wonderful, but every child wishes a meaningful relationship with the parent, isn't it? So that is why the parents, you might need to step up at this time. So the H, hearing them out, E is empathizing or validating, A is asking questions, not too probing. It's like, did you go check his account? Are you following? Are you doing that? Are you not like a CBI interrogation, not asking in such a manner, but asking with genuine concern. Are you able to sleep at night? Are you feeling distracted? And not tuck 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 one list of questions like a checklist, but gently engaging in conversation. And at this stage, it can be tricky. What if they say no, 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 ma, or no, papa, everything is okay, and you are really confused if that is not okay or not okay, and you are confused. Then the next stage, which is the R, which is recognizing that okay, this doesn't look okay to me, because the child is not sharing anything and they're just saying it's okay, and they're just distracting. They're completely shutting down and not willing to talk to you at all after they opened up first a little bit, or they are generally being very irritable with little things, or you notice that they're becoming absent-minded, or what they earlier enjoyed doing they're not enjoying doing, or they are crying and inconsolable, and this is going on for weeks, more than 2 weeks, or even if it's 1 week, if the intensity is too high in terms of bodily reactions, or if the frequency with which this topic is coming up is not slowing down even at the end of 2 weeks, even when you ask, or if the quality in which they are describing about how their approach to life, it's getting more and more darker and it's not looking good, then recognize these things in your children, continuing the hearing out and empathizing and asking gentle questions. That is the stage where you know that maybe yes, they need professional help too, that your hearing them out, accepting was not enough, and you also need. So professional help does not mean only getting the child there. Be part of the process, so that the ultimate aim is so you also learn this and you all learn how to connect with each other. So it's not really one person's problem. This is our opportunity to rebuild the trust between each other, and also for the child to trust themselves. Just because something horrible has happened or a breakup has happened doesn't mean that they completely lose faith in themselves, or they completely lose faith in relationship altogether. We don't want it to go in those directions, right? But if you see that's how the child has decided and moving forward, that is the time you recognize that okay, maybe it's a good idea, we will all go. So you can even say that I need help, I need more clarity, so come with me. So it can be even the parents who start off seeking help, even if the child is unwilling, because if you feel that this something doesn't feel great, the parents can certainly seek help. So that is the R part. So the H, E, A, R, and the last is T is take a larger view of these romantic breakups. It is telling us a lot about our children. It's telling a lot about the reasoning brain of our children, about the emotional brain of our children, and their how capable they are to regulate themselves. This is our opportunity to learn about our children, learn about ourselves. It's an opportunity to teach them, and they can also teach us a lot of things about our relationship. So this is a great opportunity to come closer and reconnect. And we also know that healing is not a linear process. So after 2 weeks, everything might begin to settle, and then suddenly you can see a dip, which is also okay. But then again, follow the same steps. You don't have to hit panic button and saying, oh my God, things happen. Maybe the person saw some Instagram post or some post about the partner, and or they are with another person already, or it can all give a slip, or the birthday comes up and then suddenly you are not getting a text, or maybe you block and then unblock, follow and then unfollow. All this confusion will be happening initially, or there might be a chase. Either after you break up, then they might try to get back again, and then you're like, okay, now what do you do? So all these things could happen, but the point is keep the H and the A the E and the R, the hearing them out, empathizing and asking questions gently, and recognizing if it's really not looking okay for you. Make sure that all of you as a family come together with this heartbreak, because heart is important. So I hope we remember this acronym HEART, which is hear them out or accept their thoughts and feelings, not agree, not necessarily agree. E is empathize without judgment. So being a safe space and being a non-judgmental space, which means validating. The R is recognizing when you need professional help. When I say you, it's not just the child, it can be the parent also, or all together ideally. And the T is take a overview. So the healing can be linear, it can go back and forth, but ideally, what do we want as an end goal? That the children can trust themselves to trust another person in a relationship again. They do not think that, oh, I am stupid, I made a mistake, so I cannot trust my judgment. No, that's not the ultimate thought that we want to land up in. Also, we do not want the child to end up blaming, shaming everybody and saying nobody is trustworthy. So it's not like I am and I cannot trust myself or I cannot trust anybody. These two narratives is not the way to heal. So we can explore that and it can go back and forth. It's very, very non-linear graph of healing, and I hope we will all use these heartbreaks as an opportunity to heal and grow. Whatever was probably there even before this event, which was unresolved, can come up. So this can be an opportunity to heal. So I hope this season, when it's time for connection, we all use these opportunities and reconnect.